Boise, Idaho, number 23 versus number 21. The Broncos and the Aggies for the Mountain Division Championship here inside Albertson Stadium. Utah State won the toss and has elected to receive as Jalen Green and Savon Scarver drift back deep. Scarver, the leading kick returner in the country, helping lead the charge for this explosive Aggies offense. So glad you could join us tonight for this outstanding matchup between two of the hottest teams in the country. They've won their last 16 games in a row combined, Tom, and away we go from the blue turf here in Idaho. And a fair catch called for. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Aggies from their 25. You know, so important for these teams to get off to a good start. Utah State has done that and then some this year. One of the top teams in first quarter play this season, led by Jordan Love, who may be the best quarterback in the country that no one knows about.
Which is remarkable because he has 2 500-yard-plus games to his resume this year alone, and 25 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions on the year.
On first down, quick game as they swing it out in the flats. And a gain of 6 yards on first down. Reception made by Aaron Vaughns, one of the heroes last week in the comeback win against Colorado State. And here comes this tempo by Utah State. Tom, they'll go as quick as anybody in the nation. 2 passes, 2 catches. That's good enough for a first down. Avery Williams with the stop. But 11 yards on the first 2 plays as Jalen Green makes the grab.
Oh, and you see how powerful Jordan Love's arm strength is. He can whip the ball out and he can get it down the field. And right now Boise State just electing to play a little more pass coverage early on.
Winner of this game will battle Fresno State, hosting the Bulldogs a week from tonight in the Mountain West Championship game. Love with a clean pocket fires a pass that is deflected, incomplete. Evan Tyler was able to get a fingertip on it as they were trying to spot Dax Raymond, the talented tight end.
Yeah, Dax Raymond's one of Jordan Love's favorite targets, the tight end, a pro prospect as well.
Off play action, they'll swing it out again, and there's a crease near sideline. There goes Vaughns. Ushered out inside the 30, the first big play of the night. Tyler credited with a stop. That's a gain of 37.
Roy, simple pass concepts, but big yardage as a result.
Darwin Thompson in the backfield. Aggies do have a nice 1-2 punch at running back. Jalen Green makes a man miss and is tripped up short of the 20. So here comes Utah State, averaging nearly 51 points per game in their 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, the only team outscoring them is Oklahoma this year.
Darwin Thompson straight ahead on second down. Will have enough to pick up another first down. Maeva finally brought him down to the turf.
Well, we can see that Utah State is pretty comfortable working the perimeter of this Boise State defense. And of course, Boise State playing without one of their best defenders, Kekoa Nawahine, not playing tonight for Boise State.
And Tom, that's an enormous loss for a secondary that has been rock solid this season. That news breaking just moments before we came on the air. Opening possession of this matchup between 2 top 25 programs.
Dax Raymond, your tight end.
Love, the quick toss to Jordan Nathan. The jump cut, and then driven backwards. As Curtis Weaver makes his first tackle of the night.
You're going to hear a lot about Curtis Weaver. He's a great edge player. Andy Avalos, a defensive coordinator, telling us earlier tonight they got to play great on the edge, both Weaver and Jabril Frazier.
On second down and 5. Aggies quick to the line. They'll look to the sideline to get the correct play call. And Jordan Love has the ability to change that call, which he's doing now. And you see he's off to a fast start. That was Vaughns in motion. Thompson the carry. Spins his way inside the 10. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2. Only loss this season for Utah State back in week 1 at Michigan State. And that was a touchdown contest.
And Roy, you know, I've talked about it all year long. We had Utah State early in the year. They are a hot team, one of the nation's hottest, and not a lot of teams want to play them right now.
And you can see why. Love wants the back shoulder fade, end zone. Touchdown Aggies, and Jalen Green, who was one time committed to Boise State, reaches pay dirt as Utah State strikes first.
Again, the arm strength of Jordan Love firing at Jalen Green, who, yes, was once a Boise State commit, ended up at USC. A great catch on that back shoulder throw by Jordan Love. And just remarkable how they move down the field. They work the perimeter of the defense. They still mix in some run game. And, of course, their offensive coordinator, David Yost, having worked under the great Mike Leach, has air raid concepts in this offense. And it's a lot of Matt Wells' offense, too. The old Utah State just get it down the field.
Extra point is good. Aggies on the scoreboard early. 75 yards in 9 plays for Utah State on the road on the opening possession of this football game with Tom Ramsey, Roy Philpott. Edward Aschoff joins us now from the sidelines. And Jordan Love, Edward, off to a very fast start tonight.
Yeah, I talked to him earlier this week, and talk about a guy who's cool and collected. I asked him about that game-winning drive that he had against Colorado State last week, under a minute to go, and he was just like, oh yeah, 2-minute drill. It was easier than what we do in practice, and Matt Wells, the head coach before the game, said 1 minute, 36 seconds, looked at his offense, and the offensive line laughed and said, oh, this is way easier than what we do, and Jordan is the reason why. This is a guy who does not flinch. Blue turf does not intimidate him.
Killian Butler brought down short of the 20. And Matt Wells is an interesting coach. In his 6th season in Logan, he told us this week, I look at this game tonight as round 8 of Mountain West Conference play. And in other words, he views it as just another game, when really it is anything but, with a chance to clinch an appearance in the Mountain West Championship game next week.
Winner. Well, you mentioned Brett Rypien a moment ago, Roy, and just his yards, completion percentage that he's put up, 36 career wins. I think that's pretty impressive in Mountain West Conference history. The #1 player, Andy Dalton, who's now with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Elite company for sure. So after the penalty, it'll be 1st and 19. Rypien with a clean pocket. Rips it across the middle, and it's incomplete. John Bates, the intended receiver. And he dropped that one in this cold weather. That's one he'd love to have back.
A little cool tonight, but Rypien right on target. Zach Hill, the offensive coordinator, saying he wanted to get Brett Rypien started early and often, but give him some easy throws. I don't know how easy a seam route is down the middle to your tight end, but he put it right on Bates' hands. Should have been caught.
Well, it's been a crazy weekend of college football so far. Michigan went down today to Ohio State. 2nd loss of the season for the Wolverines. Here's Rypien. C.T. Thomas, arguably the best hands on the team, dances out near the 20. We saw Washington beat Washington State yesterday in the Apple Cup. So the Cougars now eliminated from playoff consideration. That's a gain of 11. And Notre Dame right now being tested at Southern California over on ABC.
Yeah, this is a great week of college football. Of course, next week as well.
On 3rd down, Broncos need 5. Aggies showing pressure. Rypien with time, sails it incomplete. And the pass was high, looking for C.T. Thomas. Cameron Haney in coverage and did a nice job.
Utah State elected to rush 6 that time, and Utah State playing man free, so coming after Rypien. And again, Brian Harsin asking him what he saw, and it's just man-free coverage. Your guy has to get separation if you hope to complete that ball.
Consecutive 3-and-outs for the Broncos offense. Quinn Skillen hits it from his own 6. And a beautiful punt turns over to Jordan Nathan, and waits for the fair catch. The Broncos will do their best to flip the field, and our 3rd look now at Jordan Love. The Aggies from their 33. And we welcome you to Boise, Idaho, here on the blue turf in this winner-take-all Mountain Division contest. Winner will host Fresno State in the Mountain West Conference Championship game 1 week from tonight. And the Utah State Aggies off and running with a 7-0 advantage away from home. Tom Ramsey, Roy Philpott, Edward Aschoff. The Aggies scored on their opening possession. Boise State has gone 3 and out twice. Chilly night, as you would expect, here in Boise, Idaho. What has been another chaotic weekend of college football. Clemson finding a way to get the job done against South Carolina. First and 10 for the Aggies here. Utah State possessing one of the top offenses in all of college football. Aggies have won their last 10 as Tarver sees that pass broken up by Tyler Horton. Now Jordan Love, impressive. There's his first scoring strike of the night.
Yeah, 6 of 7 on that first drive, and the touchdown going to Jalen Green. They just moved right down the field. 9 plays, 75 yards.
Love with a clean pocket, fires a pass, and it's going to be picked off. The Boise State defense comes up huge as Jordan Love commits a rare mistake, his 5th interception of this season, and the Broncos take over in Utah State territory. Canio with the pick, and Tom, that's his 3rd of the season for the sophomore from Hawaii.
Kekau Canio just gets in the flat, and he ends up, he just runs zone, he breaks on the ball, and makes a one-handed catch. How about that? Caneo, a little extra pressure tonight with Nawahine out, and boy, I tell you, the Kahuku Red Raiders are proud of that young man.
From the 39, an opportunity now for Boise State. Rypien approaching 5 to play in the first quarter. Empty backfield. They'll set up the tunnel screen. And a nifty move to the outside. Butler picks up the first down. And a gain of 10 yards. First reception for Killian Butler. His 24th of the season.
Well, Monster, who caught that last pass, he gets the block out in front on that, and that just springs the receiver. This is a great throw and catch. Really nice running by Butler.
First down, Boise State out of the pistol. And the give straight ahead to Andrew Van Buren. First carry of the night for the freshman from West Hills, California.
Well, Alexander Madison does not come out of the game often, and when he does, Van Buren gives him a little spell. I believe Madison's back in the ball game.
I'm not taking Alexander Madison out too often, right?
No, he has played spectacular the last 4 games, Roy. Over 514 yards rushing.
Madison checks back in on 2nd down. This Boise State team methodically improving as the season has progressed, all the way to this 6-game winning streak. Madison makes a cut and a man miss. It'll be 3rd down and short.
Well, you bring up a great point. They have improved, and Brian Harsin told me before the game, he said the offensive line has really been the catalyst there in that improvement of the offensive numbers, and especially the last 3 weeks alone, while Rypien hasn't thrown for over 300 yards in any of the last 3 games. They have effectively rushed the ball. They've been really good on 3rd down, and they played great defense too.
Madison back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns. Power formation. Madison gets the carry. That's a first down. Madison towards the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal for the Broncos. Gage Ferguson finally tripped him up.
Madison just following great blocks that time. They run a wing with the tight ends, and it's just down block, and guard pulls around, and Madison just with great vision that time and athleticism and almost getting over for the score.
After the interception, a nice response for the Broncos offense. One wide receiver formation. Madison, end zone. Touchdown, Boise State. 14th rushing touchdown of the season for the junior from California.
Again, that offensive line gets great push at the line of scrimmage. They have a little action in the backfield, just trying to fool some of the Utah State Aggies' eyes. And again, Madison powering over and getting 6 points for Boise State.
Offensive play caller Zach Hill told us this week he's quiet, he's humble, but he's hungry. And he's been running extremely hard these last 3 football games. Hayden Hogarth, an opportunity to try to tie this one up early. And the kick is good. 2:35 remaining in our first quarter. And our new score, we are tied at 7 on the blue turf. A great one brewing in the Mountain West Conference, tied at 7. 2:35 remaining in our first quarter as we take a look at how both teams are planning for success. Brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. First for the Broncos.
Well, I think Brian Harsin and Boise State did just that. Start fast, although they didn't really start fast. They went 2 3 and outs, but they got on the board. They responded, moving the chains, keeping momentum. That's Boise State football, and of course, protecting the football. Let the other team make the mistakes.
Scarver waves for the fair catch. They'll move it out to the 25-yard line. And for the Aggies from Logan, Utah, good start tonight, and especially for Jordan Love. And the first down carry by Bright goes nowhere. Ezekiel Noah belted him down. No gain.
Yeah, Maeva would tell you, hey, he was just continuing the play and just drove the back out of bounds, which I didn't know it was worthy of a flag.
Clean pocket for Love off his back foot. Tarver could not corral it, and Tyler Horton, the senior, helped break it up.
Well, that Boise State front, Roy, they have to get Jordan Love off his spot, because if he settles in and has ample time to throw, he can really gouge a defense. His arm strength is one of the best in the country, and he's had such a phenomenal year, throwing for almost 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns.
Crowd on its feet once more.
Well, they got zoned the last time in coverage when Conejo made the interception.
Love flings it. Green incomplete. And Love a bit off target. Was knocked down to the blue turf in the process. And the punt team trots on the field again for the Aggies.
Well, Jabril Frazier coming in off the edge. And it becomes unsettling when number 8 gets some running shots at you. There's a whole host of Broncos back there with Jordan Love.
So Natane Louie shoved him down. And the Broncos now storming back, hoping for good field position. Taylor Heintz's punt. Williams. Well, he's explosive, but this time is bottled up after a 47-yard punt. Tied at 7, 96 seconds remaining in a fast-moving first quarter here in the Gem State. On first down, Rypien gets it back, wide open, Monster inside the 30. He's brought down there. A big play for the Boise State offense. DJ Williams brought him down, but not before he picked up 51.
Again, it's the play action, Roy, and the fake. The ball fake by Brett Rypien, and then he just uncorks one down the middle of the field. Monster streaking, and they're lucky that ball was just a little bit underthrown. Otherwise, he takes that one to the house.
And you test this Utah State secondary, you better know what you're doing. They lead the country with 18 interceptions this season. Broncos now at the Utah State 25. A little misdirection. A hurdle. And how about Alexander Madison sent out near the 10? Boy, he can do a little bit of everything. We've seen the power. There's the speed and athleticism.
You think Saquon Barkley has an effect on running backs? And to make running backs even greater than they are, I mean, that is impressive right there. I mean, full speed. A defender's lowering his shoulders, and you just hurdle him like it's a 330 low hurdle. Bam.
DJ Williams. He's jumped over right there relatively easily by 22 in blue. He'll fake it his direction this time towards the end zone, and Richardson could not bring it in. Aaron Wade in coverage. That could have been 6. Second and 10 from the 13. This game moving at a breakneck pace here in our first quarter.
Well, I love Brett Rypien, his veteran presence, Roy, and the ball faking. He's really freezing the linebackers, and they're trying to go play action and get the ball over the second level defender, and those linebackers have to respect Alexander Madison.
A monster bottom of the screen has been dangerous in this position before, but so is 22. As Madison's tripped up. What could be the final play of these first 15 minutes.
Well, Boise State's 2 tackles have played phenomenal. John Ojukwu and Ezra Cleveland. I think they're 2 of the best in the game right now. Cleveland's playing at such a high level.
The end, first quarter.
It's one of the biggest games in the history of the Mountain West Conference, and after the first quarter, we are tied at 7 here in Boise. Start of our second quarter. This de facto championship game in the Mountain Division of the Mountain West Conference. Tom Ramsey, Edward Ashoff, Roy Philpott. 3rd and 4 coming up for Boise State. Broncos need to take it to the 2-yard line.
And Alexander Madison right at the top of your screen.
In motion, Rypien surveying with all kinds of time. Tosses towards the end zone, and that one sails high. Madison was over there. Outstanding coverage by Utah State, and Devon Anderson applying the pressure finally against Rypien.
Great defense that time by Utah State. They were able to pressure Rypien, and then it looked as though Boise State tried to get a little bit of trickeration going just with the motion of Madison. I'm not sure if they were trying to get him the ball. I thought they were trying to work one of the tight ends over the middle, but either way, the ball sails out of bounds, incomplete.
A 23-yard effort for Hayden Hogarth. And from the right hash, a chip shot is good. So the Broncos grab their first lead, 10-7, just underway here in our second quarter. Albertson Stadium is rocking for this Mountain Division clash inside the Mountain West Conference. Oh, we love that. The chaos. Where has it been so far this year? Perhaps it's yet to come. We'll see what happens in the Coliseum as well. Handoff as Jordan Love trots back on the field, and the Aggies trailing tonight. And during this 10-game winning streak, boy, that is a rare notion for this club.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
No, that's not 600 minutes. And you trail for 12?
After a 3-yard gain by Darwin Thompson, Jordan Love got off to a fast start. 6 for his first 7, since in just 2 in his last 7 passing attempts. Love off the back foot, fires a strike. Pass is caught by DJ Nelson. Maeva with the tackle. 3rd and short.
Using tempo right away, trying to rush that Boise State defensive alignment.
Offensive play caller David Yost told us this year Jordan Love really does have a lot of control at the line of scrimmage with the play call. And he's just a redshirt sophomore. And his best football still well in front of him.
He really has a great feel for that offense.
They need less than a yard here. Pass is deflected and incomplete. Savon Scarver, the receiver. Avery Williams, the outstanding cover corner, broke it up.
Avery Williams is really good, Roy. And you know, right there, you're kind of going into the teeth of the defense. You're going against a veteran corner. He's played a lot of snaps. He's played in a lot of big games. And, you know, right there, he just pattern reads it, sticks his arm in, and swats the ball away.
Williams now back deep to receive this punt from Taylor Heinz. And it's a fake to the up back, needed across the 35. He did not get there. And the Broncos defense holds. That snap went straight to Dax Raymond. Matt Wells rolling the dice early in this one, and that one's going to hurt.
Well, I was going to say, on third down and a foot, you know, that's time when you run the ball. And this time, fourth and a foot, Boise State stones them on the fake. Direct snap, as you mentioned, to Dax Raymond, the tight end, and he just goes nowhere. In fact, he lost a yard.
You surprised with that call at this juncture?
Yep, I am. This early in the game, and you know, I think you flip the field, you put your defense back on, especially after just blowing it on third and short.
Madison already off to a fast start tonight. Another punishing run inside the 30. This game started, it was all Aggies right down the field as a flag is out at the 25. And then since then, Boise State has seized control after that interception by Jordan Love.
Sort out the flag here.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 77, offense. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. The down counts. Second down.
It's the starting left guard, John Molchan. Redshirt junior out of Las Vegas. That's a costly penalty.
And Olsen gets the flag. And Roy, I am surprised, you know, but Matt Wells told us this week, you know, he's going to be himself. He's going to, you know, not change anything going in. And so, I mean, when you think about taking chances like that, you got to take chances in big games.
Play action for Rypien. Pressure off the edge. Steps up. Wide open. That'll be a first down, and it'll be first and goal as John Bates, the tight end, makes the grab. It's a gain of 30.
Well, a lot of 12 personnel tonight, one back, two tight ends, two receivers, and they slip Bates around the formation, Roy. Just very strategic play that time by Boise State, and just running a little bit of a wheel route, and Rypien again with his accuracy puts it right on, right between the 8 and the 5 of Bates.
First and goal. Madison already with one touchdown this evening, stacked up here and driven backwards. No gain on the play, and John Trail Rockamore, one of the best names in college football, led the charge.
Well, they just clog up the hole that time. Utah State with a lot of hats around the football, and you got to believe that Boise State, they did a great job in their last drive play actioning to Alexander Madison. But you know, when you get this close to pay dirt and you have such a great back, why not run Wildcat?
And here's Madison, the hammer to the end zone for the touchdown. Second score of the night for the junior running back already. Over 1,000 yards this year.
Well, Roy, he's been so impressive. Again, they run right behind Ezra Cleveland, the big left tackle, and why wouldn't you? He just knocks people out of the way, and then they pull the guard around as well. Quevedo, the big right guard. Boy, they get it done in the run game.
So the Aggies have won 10 in a row before tonight. Boise State 6 in a row. And now the Broncos with a 10-point lead. 10:09 remaining here in our first half.
John Bates catching a dart again by Brett Rypien.
Nation's leading kick returner, Savon Scarver, kneels down. It'll be first and 10 from the 25. The Aggies put so much pressure on your defensive play calls right back at the line of scrimmage as soon as the ball is spotted.
Yeah, they really make you show your hand on defense. They, you know, if we're going to give you this formation, how are you going to play us? And then Jordan Love can dial up the play, and a lot of times it's RPO.
With Thompson in the backfield across the middle. Aaron Vaughn's another huge play for Utah State as he rumbles into Boise State territory. Jordan Happel brought him down after a gain of 19.
Well, they got a little cute on their last series, of course, when they missed it play on third down and they went for the fake on fourth down.
And the RPO on Quavian Tarver, who's been awfully quiet so far tonight. Picks up 7 on first down.
And Tarver's a matchup problem for so many teams, and for Boise State as well. 6'3", 215-pounder. You got to know where he's at.
More tempo. Handoff. Thompson to the edge. Another hurdle. Stays in bounds and finally tripped up inside the 20. Gain of 18 yards and the Aggies offense catching fire.
Beautiful running that time by Darwin Thompson, just letting his block set up and being patient. He had a hurdle as well.
Love in the flats to Vaughn. Makes a man miss, ushered out inside the 15. Boy, this defense without a chance to catch its breath, much less the announcers here in the booth.
And Roy, what I like about those receivers at Utah State, they block for one another.
It's a selfless team. Thompson drops it. Third down and 4, halfway through our second quarter. Crowd rises to its feet once again.
Aaron Vaughn's number 11. Keep an eye on him. He's in the slot up top, and he can be awfully effective down here in the red zone.
Love looks his direction, now the other way towards the end zone. There's Tarver, and the jump ball receiver reels it in for a touchdown.
Well, there's the matchup probably we're talking about. Ronquavian Tarver, 6'3", going over Jalen Walker, about 5'11". He might have gotten away with a little bit of a push there. This is a great view, ground level. And Tarver has caught a few of those this year. That's number 7 on the year for Tarver. And I just think number 1 is just such a good player.
Outstanding weapons for both of these teams here tonight. We thought it may be a shootout. We knew it would be close. Rally tonight.
How about this? Both head coaches this week giving props to Commissioner Craig Thompson. Hey, Commish, nice job scheduling the way you did. Utah State, Boise State for the Mountain Division and the representative for next week's championship.
Now the Broncos have won the title 3 of the last 6 years as Butler is escorted out of bounds. Third down and 15 for the Broncos. Rypien steps up, fires it long, and it's caught in Utah State territory. C.T. Thomas, arguably the best hands with this Boise State program, did drop a pass in preseason camp, and a nice grab there.
C.T. Thomas is fun to watch, an explosive player. He gets down the sideline, and Rypien just lets it fly right here. Beats the safety Ferguson, and just a really nice catch. It's a heck of a throw, stepping up into the pocket and just ripping the ball.
Broncos coming in tonight at 9-2 after a gain of 34. Madison motions out. Rypien backside pressure, and down he goes. Nalei got there at just the right time.
Again, the disruptive force off the edge. Nalei coming left part of your screen. He beats the extra tight end Chase Blakely, just runs right past him. Blakely there having to block Nalei, and boy, Tipa's a tough one to block.
Well, you remember what Keith Patterson, the defensive play caller for the Aggies, told us this year. Nalei lives in the film room. He knows what's coming from the opposing offense, and you saw it there. An outstanding pass rusher. Rypien fires it. The far side pass is caught by Thomas once again. Rockamore in the area, but a nice gain.
Yeah, you know, when you get these guys that really love football, they get into the film room, they put in the extra efforts, and both programs have these players. And again, I think it's a testament to the head coaches and what good programs they're running. And you know, we expected a great game tonight, and we've had nothing short of that.
After a gain of 13, Rypien straight ahead. And you don't see a lot of that these days with so many teams running the spread out of the shotgun. Quarterback under center as he pushes the pile to keep the drive alive. 1:25 remaining.
Well, when it's 3rd and short, Roy, this is just a high percentage, right? You get your big offensive line pushing, you get the fullback or Madison behind you and giving that little extra push, and Rypien 6'2", he can lean ahead and get it.
Be curious how many times we've seen that kind of play called in the Big 12 this year. On first down, Broncos with a couple of timeouts to work with, and there's Madison. leaps another Utah State defender. And the Broncos in business, less than a minute to play in the first half. It's a gain of 15.
Well, Harsin called this week championship week, and Alexander Madison, you think he's taking that to heart, because there's another guy who's just a hard worker, blue-collar guy on the blue turf, and Alexander Madison having himself a game.
Here's Rypien operating with tempo, a quick toss, and a gain of 4, call it 5. Alex Madison has leapfrogged DJ Williams and now Gage Ferguson on this last play.
Watch Madison just explode up the middle in the previous play. And boy, when you hurdle defenders, that is impressive.
It's disrespectful right there. That's how impressive it was. And Madison can do just about anything. Those back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 15 scores on the ground this year, leading the conference. Goes with those 2 timeouts left. 42 seconds to work with. Madison straight ahead. Brian Harsin will utilize one of those timeouts here.
Almost had an exchange problem.
Boise State, second and a half, 30 seconds in length.
Rypien, the senior, rips it to the end zone, and it's incomplete. A monster broke open. Gage Ferguson, who was leapfrogged a moment ago, was right there.
Well, they try and get him just over the top, and they did have the opening there. And well, Ferguson makes a nice play, rips Monster's hand away from the ball. Good play by number 23.
32 seconds remaining. That'll force a field goal attempt. Hayden Hogarth has been good this year from this distance. This one from 33 yards out. Perfect so far tonight. A low snap, quickly corralled, and the kick is no good. Well, you know how things are with those kickers. If momentum is shifted, if the rhythm is broken, a lot of times you'll see exactly what we just saw. 17-14, our halftime score here on the blue turf. The Broncos with the lead as we send you now to the halftime report and Adnan Burke. Start of our third quarter, 17-14. The Broncos with the lead over Utah State. In this battle of top 25 teams, we welcome you back to our broadcast position. Tom Ramsey, Roy Philpott, Edward Ashoff down on the sidelines. Mountain Division Championship on the line tonight. We expected it to be close. That's what we've seen so far.
Well, and I think both head coaches have had their teams just tremendously prepared, Roy. They came in, they knew it was going to be a tough battle. I think the game plans have been very important to so far in this game. But as Matt Wells said, you know, they got to run the ball, they got to stop the run.
Yeah.
Boise State has to drive the ball down the field a little bit, you know, and it really might come down to a special teams play as well.
Well, Brett Rypien in his senior season off and running. Boise State trailed early before they rallied in that second quarter. He's been on target. He's got to continue to be on target in the second half.
Well, he's been on target his whole career, and you would expect the same as well. And, you know, the flip side is they get the ball right away here in the second half.
And a touchback. Still bring it out to the 25-yard line. Temperatures dropping into the lower 30s as we begin our second half. A crazy weekend of college football. Notre Dame, Clemson both survive after being challenged by their rivals. Alabama handled Auburn in the Iron Bowl. As Rypien will operate out of the shotgun on first down. Misdirection. Alex Madison nearly tripped up behind the line, and down he goes. He's going to lose a yard. David Woodward had a big-time sack in that second quarter. Gets the tackle for loss here.
Oh, and he was active in that first half as well, Roy. And we talk about what Boise State has to do. They want to keep the momentum going. And, you know, at times in the first half, they were awfully good at getting that momentum, and really because of Alexander Madison.
They'll fake it to Madison. C.T. Thomas across the middle. Second effort to the 45. That'll move the sticks. Boise State developing some nice weapons at wide receiver, having lost Cedric Wilson from a year ago. It's a gain of 19 yards.
Again, the play action to Madison really has been a catalyst for this Boise State offense tonight.
You talk about a force. Broncos with the football after Utah State went 3 and out. Rypien with all kinds of time. Delivers a shot deep down the field. And it's going to be caught by A.J. Richardson. And that'll get the crowd to its feet. A gain of 44.
Well, Boise State has taken their shots tonight, and A.J. Richardson again, you know, such a great route runner, Roy, and he has the defender on his back hip. And just no place to go for Aaron Wade. Beaten deep, and credit, again, Brett Rypien, the all-time leading passer of the Mountain West Conference, coming into tonight's game, 13,000 yards. And that is just an impressive throw.
And he looked like a quarterback that's thrown for that kind of yardage in his career. And once again, back corner. The pass is incomplete. Boy, that was close for C.T. Thomas.
Incomplete pass. Second down.
C.T. Thomas had his man beat. Haney, watch him lay out. And this ball just comes out on impact. You have to control the ball through that contact with the ground, and boy, that's a great effort by him. Great attempt by Rypien.
Rypien 17 of 26 for 275. We'll swing it out. Brought down at the 10 is Thomas. Crowd wanted a face mask. They will not get it. It'll bring up third down.
Yeah, I thought Nalei got away with a face mask there, because see if where that left hand goes. Nalei coming in, and just had it by the shoulder pad. Nice takedown by number 10.
Butler motions out, empty backfield. Broncos need 5. Halfway through our third quarter. Rypien with all night to throw. End zone. It was caught. A flag inside the end zone. Monster reeled it in, and they're going to rule him out at the 3. That was an interesting sequence. Here's Scott Campbell with the call.
Number 8 went out of bounds. Came back inbounds. Was the first to touch a pass. Illegal touching. Lost it down at the previous spot. Fourth down.
Well, that's the second time in as many weeks Utah State has been the benefactor for an illegal touching call. And clearly Monster steps out.
Yeah,
back of the end zone.
Back of the end zone. He runs out. Sure enough, comes out. That's a great call by the referee. They have been on top of it tonight, really all season long.
A 27-yard field goal attempt as Utah State and the field goal is good, and our new score, Boise State leads it by 6. 7 days ago in Fort Collins, Utah State rallied late. Aaron Vaughns catching the go-ahead touchdown from Jordan Love with 43 seconds remaining, but CSU right back down the field, and on 3rd and 5 with time winding down, Preston Williams appeared to catch the game winner in the end zone before an illegal touching was called to negate the score. The game ended, and Utah State claimed the 5-point victory. Similar call moments ago, preventing a touchdown, perhaps from Boise State, or at least keeping the drive alive. Matt Wells got to feel good about those 2 penalties that have helped his club out.
They sure did. And last week against Colorado State, you know, that team, Utah State, never left the field. Matt Wells knew it. Once the hat was thrown, that told him that Preston Williams was out of bounds.
Rare return for Scarver tonight.
I think Jordan Love has been spectacular at times tonight, but this is when he needs to be really good, right at the end of the game, and they've relied on him all year, and for good reason.
It feels like Boise State should be ahead by more than just 6 points at this juncture. Missed a chip shot field goal, and some other costly penalties have prevented that from occurring, but the Broncos have driven deep Utah State territory a couple of times.
Again, Jordan Love, where he has to be good, is is, you know, third down, they have to convert, because I think every possession now, even in this one-score game as close as it is, if you make a mistake in your own end, you really give Boise State a short field and an opportunity to go up again. So now is the time, put a drive together, get the chains clanging.
Love with a pocket, fires his strike. That'll be good enough to move the chains. Here comes the quick tempo as Jalen Green makes another reception, the transfer from SC.
And I like Jalen Green. He's a physical player, get great body position that time.
Love wants to go deep off his back foot. Tarver's down there, makes the grab at the 35, and there's the big play the Aggies have been searching for. That's a gain of 42 yards right in the face of Tyler Horton.
Well, Roy, go to your big physical targets, and Green and Tarver are imposing.
To the end zone, Green. Blanketed by Avery Williams.
Tarver a moment ago working against Tyler Horton, one of the most experienced players for the Broncos, and he's had such a great career, played in 47 games for them. Only 4 career interceptions, but again, Jordan Love taking control of this game.
15 seconds remaining here in the third. 2nd and 10 for Utah State. Only loss this season for the Aggies on the road in East Lansing way back in week 1 against Michigan State. Pressure off the edge. Quick toss is incomplete. Taylor Compton was out there. And too much zest on that pass.
Well, Taylor Compton just has to make the play. I mean, it's a short sideline throw. It goes right through his hands, and well, you got to come down with that one. Utah State 4 of 10 tonight on third down. Missed the field goal their last time down here, so it's important. Even if you don't get the first down, Roy, you got to get a chunk of yards to at least set up your field goal unit.
That's exactly what the Aggies were thinking as Thompson is belted crossing the 30. It'll bring up a 4th down and 5.
Man, Curtis Weaver, I mean, hits the ball carrier almost as hard as you can hit someone. Boise State up 2014.
A one-score game to begin our 4th quarter. 4th down and 6 for Utah State. Eberle to attempt a 45-yarder. 0 for 1 tonight on the way. And it's good. And a big kick for Utah State. And it's 10-game winning streak, 20-17. Now we showed you the graphic going out to break. Boise State has been just about unbeatable, holding on to a 3rd quarter lead here at home. 112 consecutive wins as Eberle connects. And in case you're wondering, the team that is closest to those 112 consecutive victories, LSU, 2nd in the nation at 69. So you get Brian Harsin a lead in the 4th quarter. He's going to cash it in. Matt Wells said this week, survive and advance. We found a way in Fort Collins. Can they do it again on the road tonight? Rypien will throw it on 1st down. Dancing out of bounds is Modster, and a gain of 11.
Well, that's a nice throw to start a drive on 1st down by Brett Rypien. He just rips it, a timing route, quick out to Modster. It's out of bounds. Nice timing between quarterback and receiver.
5 catches, 81 yards for Modster, who had a monsters game last week, scoring 3 times. And that was by design, according to offensive play caller Zach Hill, as the Broncos won easily in Albuquerque.
Well, they just caught New Mexico in a bunch of blitz coverages, and Modster was the receiver that just came wide open. I went back and reviewed that film, and you know, Zach Hill draws him up pretty well.
He does.
And Modster's a really good route runner, and that's why he's been so successful in this offense. It's kind of like Thomas Spurbeck, who was a great possession receiver for the Broncos the last several years, Monster really has stepped into those shoes.
Broncos have been a pipeline into the NFL. Going all the way back to Dan Hawkins, Dirk Cutter, Chris Peterson, who had a big win yesterday in the Apple Cup. Madison, a power run, will make it 3rd down and 4. Dalton Baker with the tackle, and Madison approaching 100 yards tonight.
Yeah, we've had a little adventure the last 36 hours, going up, doing the Apple Cup, driving through the Idaho wilderness, and saw all kinds of deer and elk. Probably at the wrong part of the evening.
Not to mention the snow-covered roads.
Yeah.
Madison, you saw it, 99 yards. A big play here for the Aggies defense. On 3rd down, Rypien. Pass will be caught right at the line he needed to gain. That was Thomas. And they're going to give him the 1st down, I believe.
Yeah, his forward momentum was past the sticks. And again, that short sideline out, that's such a timing route. And watch Rypien, the ball comes out immediately. He identifies the coverage. He's got several defenders over there, but he just sticks it in there. Good for the 1st down.
Well, you've talked a lot this year in the games we've called about the timing of the ball exiting the quarterback's hands. And Rypien tonight is playing like a senior signal caller. Broncos from the 38. Play action. Richardson had to spin around to catch it, and is tackled from behind after picking up 11 yards. That'll move the chains.
Well, I thought for a moment Cameron Haney, the corner, might jump the route. He comes in, crashing in, and I thought he was going for the ball. Actually, he was just avoiding the block. And Richardson does a nice job of concentration, catching the ball, and then a nice run after catch.
4 catches, 77 yards for Richardson. Here's Alex Madison. Spun around, driven down inside the 20. On 1st down, he'll pick up 8. Gage Ferguson with the stop. And how about Boise State? Brett Rypien's now thrown for over 300 yards. That's the 21st time in his Mountain West Conference career he's achieved that mark. The most in the history of this conference. Madison also over 100 yards. 5th time that's happened this year. He'll pick up a 1st down inside the 15 on that touch.
And that's where Boise State is so good. You know, the balance between run and pass, the offensive line play, starting to really exert their physicality now onto this Utah State defense. And you know, Utah State's, their defense has been on the field a lot of snaps tonight. Boise State with all those yards you mentioned a moment ago, Roy, over 417 total yards. Time of possession definitely in Boise State's favor by 10 minutes.
Madison with 2 cuts right in the hole, brought down at the 10. A methodical start to our 2nd half, and now into our 4th quarter. Both of these teams trading jabs. It was 17-14 at halftime. A couple of field goals so far, but the Broncos threatening on this possession.
Yeah, Boise State, they can get a 1st down inside the 5-yard line or at the 5-yard line.
Madison, they'll keep it on the ground, stood up after a gain of 2.
Nice run stop that time by the Aggies, and Chase Christiansen making that play from that inside linebacker position. He had 12 tackles a week ago against the CSU Rams, and you know, this is a pretty important 3rd down here, because if they can't get a 1st down, you expect them to kick a field goal, and then it's still a 1-score game. They get a touchdown here, it sure makes it difficult for Utah State.
7-14 on 3rd down. Here's Madison, the hammer, spun down close to the 5, and let's check the spot. Gage Ferguson, an important initial hit there, and it'll be 4th down. Decision time again for Brian Harsin, already 10 plays into this possession.
Great job by Keith Patterson's defensive unit. They stuffed the run, and Boise State in knowing Brian Harsin and what he likes to do, he's all about getting the win, and championship week to them means you got to put more points on the board.
Rypien will move under center.
Well, and Madison lined up in the bunch formation. Then they split out. They go heavy on the left side.
Out of the offset eye, Madison hit hard at the 5, but he bounced forward to pick up the yard that he needed.
Well, the one constant tonight has been running behind left tackle Ezra Cleveland, and they load up this time with the poundage. They pull the guard around as well. Quevedo, and Eric Quevedo, he's had himself a nice game too at right guard. They have really dominated the line of scrimmage, those two players.
Well, a touchdown on this possession would make it a 2-score game. Under 9 to play. Madison approaching the goal line, spun down about 2 yards short. Another test for this Utah State defense.
Well, you see Brian Harsin willing to go for it on 4th down, and you know, getting that first down, Roy, you keep that clock running, get a fresh set of downs, and burn off a little more time off that clock, giving Utah State just a little bit less time.
13th play of the drive. Once again, here's Madison probing, driven backwards. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down. And I'll ask you this question, Tom. Is this also 4-down territory if they can't pick it up here?
I think it's a great question, Roy. I think the pursuit to the football right now, Utah State, I think you would elect, if you don't get into the end zone here, I think you kick it and you take points. Because if you come away with 0, well, I tell you what, as comfortable as Utah State is, you know, with clock management and going the length of the field, scoring, and as quick as they can score, I would put more points on.
Rypien will shift into the shotgun. 3rd down and goal. Rypien wants to throw it, surveys, end zone, touchdown! And the Broncos found a way. Garrett Collingham. He's been banged up this year. Scored on a sweep earlier this season. This time he grabs the touchdown on the 14th play of the drive.
Nice play design. They roll the pocket. And then Collingham just kind of sits in the end zone, and Rypien again, the veteran presence.
And the extra point, obviously no good, 26-17.
Extra point is no good. Timeout on the field.
So they move the pocket. Brett Rypien on the run. Throws a strike into the end zone. Boise State up 26-17.
A bad moon rising over the city of trees here in the Treasure Valley. 26-17, Boise State leading Utah State halfway through our 4th quarter. Winner of this game will match up with Fresno State in the Mountain West Conference Championship game 1 week from tonight. And they'll also host the Bulldogs regardless of who wins this matchup. Tom Ramsey, Edward Ashoff, Roy Philpott. Chilly night in Boise, Idaho. From the 4, Scarver, leading kick returner in the country, will give Utah State decent field position. After a punt of 28, the Aggies need some points, and they need them quickly. Solid night for Jordan Love, but a drop here by Jalen Green. Now, what can Utah State do at this point? Stretch the field, find some kind of offensive rhythm. They are out of sorts. Yeah,
and it's really finding the rhythm, Roy. I mean, if you go back to the first series of the game when they whisked down the field, Jordan Love 6 of 7 on the drive and came away with a touchdown. They've been anything but that since the first series of the game.
Looked like the greatest show on turf in that opening possession. Not as much since then. Dangerous pass nearly picked off. Canijo who had that interception in the first half. Nearly had another one there.
Okay, Kaula Kaniho really has had a nice game. He had the interception earlier, and again, spectacular play, great timing by that Boise State defense.
Time's running out for the Aggies and their 10-game winning streak.
And you really almost have, you're in 2-down territory, I believe, here. You're not assured of another possession, and you're still 2 scores away.
And with only 1 timeout remaining, pocket collapses, long toss. Tarver has it. He'll be marked about 2 yards short of the 25-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th down, and I'm with you. I think Utah State has to go for it.
I think they do. See, he's about a yard short. Tyler Horton, a great job coming up, making the tackle.
And what a career he's had here on the blue turf.
Yeah.
Aggies need this one right here. Inside zone and a 1st down for Utah State. What a second effort. A brilliant play by Darwin Thompson to keep the play alive. They'll stop the clock as the chains move.
I loved what Andy Avalos, the defensive coordinator for Boise State, told us. I get to that in a moment.
Love wants Tarver at the 35, and he brings it in. Ronquavian Tarver with a catch. And a flag on the field. There was contact.
Well, they're going to call it back, Roy, because Ronquavian Tarver ended up pushing Tyler Horton off while he made the catch. The flag comes out.
Pass interference, number 1, offense, 15-yard penalty, biggest spot, still 1st down.
So the ball's in the air, and I love that Tarver gets physical here, but you can't push the defensive back out of the way, and Tyler Horton did get pretty good body position there. Started running with Tarver, and I believe that's Jovan Bouknight, the outside receivers coach, talking to Ronquavian Tarver.
1st down and 25. 3:36 remaining. The Aggies with just 1 timeout. Fresno State awaits the winner of the Mountain West Conference Championship game next weekend. And here's Love. Wants to go deep. And the far side throw incomplete. Thompson was running free for a moment out there. There is a flag on the field.
Holding, number 52, offense, half distance to the goal, still 1st down.
Well, I'm sure Matt Wells is sick here when, the flags keep coming out on some of his key players on the right side of the screen, battling Jabril Frazier.
Boise State has elected to decline the penalty. 2nd down.
And that's the problem. Jabril Frazier is a great edge rusher. I mean, it puts so much pressure on your tackles, and number 8 has had a pretty impressive game. While hasn't had a ton of tackles, he's been around the ball all night.
Out of the gun, they'll set up the screen, and a nice play call will pick up a chunk of yards here. And there go the Aggies, an opportunity to get to the end zone. Gerald Bright keeps it alive. Touchdown, Utah State.
Touchdown, Aggies.
From 83 yards out, and don't go anywhere just yet. It's a brand new ball game.
Well, how about that? And it's a slow screen. And boy, what a great call that was by Matt Wells and David Yost. And then the rest, Gerald Bright, just, I mean, that is just an enormous play.
Jordan Happel missed a critical tackle. Eberly on for the all-important extra point.
Boy, a lot of things cooking here. We knew we were going to have a close game. We knew this was going to be a battle.
You think about as well the ramifications of this game. The winner will play in the Mountain West Conference Championship game next weekend. And it will serve as the host school against Fresno State. Utah State's won 10 in a row. Boise State 6 straight. Do you go for the onside kick here?
Well, before I answer that, Boise State has played Fresno State earlier this year and beat them 24-17. I don't go I do not kick an onside kick here. I drive it deep.
We'll see what Matt Wells elects to do. 26-24. Aggies pulled out a miracle win in Fort Collins a week ago. Do they have enough gas left in the tank here? Alexander Madison, another incredible performance. Leapfrogging defenders, reaching the end zone on 2 occasions, and he has been a workhorse, touching the football over 30 times this evening.
He's been so good. 31 carries, 125 yards, 2 scores, and, you know, just hurdling defenders, as you mentioned, Roy. And, you know, his competitive desire, we talked about that earlier tonight. 10th career game, over 100+ yards. He has become really, I think, just such a stalwart player for the Broncos.
Broncos need a first down. Madison will gain 5, call it 6 to make it 2nd and 4.
Alexander Madison gets 6 yards.
Aggies with just that 1 timeout left, and that is a very big deal at this late hour.
Well, I wanted to pay off. I had mentioned Andy Avalos, the defensive coordinator for Boise State. I loved what he said this week because it's really a team mantra too. Stay in the fight. I mean, Boise State, that's why they're so good on the blue. They're so good at home. I mean, they'll battle you for 60 minutes. And right now, you know what? They have to be really good and get a couple first downs.
You got to think it's going to number 22 again. And it does. Straight ahead, first down, Broncos, and then some. Madison off to the races. And brought down inside the 10, and that was the big play Boise State needed right there.
Right on cue. He has been the man all night. Alex Madison, you know, it's an inside zone, and, you know, he just hits the hole. Again, great blocking up front. And Roy, then at the end, he has the awareness to stay in bounds. Ferguson brings him down, but he stays in bounds.
You think about all the great running backs here at this great institution. Jeremy McNichols recently, Jay Ajayi. Going back even further, a pipeline of talent into the National Football League. It'll continue with number 22. Less than 2 to play, and a first down carry results in a gain of a couple. Aggies still with that 1 timeout. Maybe too little, too late.
Yeah, it could be. It really kind of wiped out that great 83-yard touchdown of Gerald Bryant a moment ago, and that's the reality of this conference. It's the reality of how quick these teams can score, and give credit Boise State for staying in the fight.
Now, at one point this season, Broncos were 3-2, coming off a tough loss to San Diego State. Madison bottled up inside the 5. Tom, there was a tough setback on the road in Stillwater, Oklahoma against the Cowboys out of the Big 12. Utah State out of timeouts, 3rd down and goal, 55 seconds remaining. And Boise State, oh so close to facing Fresno State right here next weekend. Madison, who else? A stutter step towards the goal line, driven backwards, and it'll be stopped just short. And the Broncos will have to run one more play as time winds down.
Well, and Roy, that's a crucial down because, boy, not getting in the end zone, you let the time run down, you take time out if you're Brian Harsin, and then you kick a field goal. That's what I would do, because you sure don't want to let Utah State get the ball and only need 3 points to win the game.
At the same time, would still have to go some 70 yards to have that opportunity. And Brian Harsin let the clock drift inside of 10 seconds and call a timeout.
Boise State, 2nd of the half, 30 seconds in length.
The offense is back on the field. No field goal attempt, and Rypien will move under center. Madison dives across the goal line for the score. And why not? "37 touches, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. And let the party begin in Boise. They're going back to the Mountain West Conference Championship game.
I loved the multiple choice test you gave me. Not that I failed it. You know, listen, points are points, but that right there, Bryan Harsin electing to hand the ball to Alex Madison. He hits the 200-yard mark. Boise State goes up again by 9, and they will host Fresno State next week. But Madison just spectacular tonight. And, you know, good hard running again. The offensive line doing their role, and boy, credit that big offensive line. They've had a nice game. I might even give them a game ball.
Now Fresno State has been so impressive the last 2 seasons. It's been rebuilt as the kickoff sails out of bounds after the penalty. 2 teams met up just a few weeks back right here in Boise. 24-17 was the final. Same 2 teams last year in the championship game, 17-14 in overtime. So these 2 programs very familiar with each other. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jeff Tedford has done just a fantastic job at Fresno State. Of course, that's his alma mater. He was a great player himself, and you know, he has had an interesting journey, but I think him getting back on campus at Fresno, he really has injected a winning culture out there at Fresno State. And you know, listen, he's familiar with being up here.
What will be the final play of the game? The Broncos have done it. Back to the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Boise State defeats the Aggies tonight 33-24. And the Broncos are the Mountain Division champions in the Mountain West. 7 wins in a row for Bryan Harsin as the 10-game winning streak for Utah State comes to a screeching halt. Brett Rypien passes for over 300 yards. Alexander Madison rushes for 200 and scores 3 times to lead the charge. 33-24 the final score. Stay tuned. Coming up next, SportsCenter right here on ESPN. Good night from Boise, Idaho.